It is my great pleasure to chair the presidential lecture by the APSR President. Before we start, may I remind all delegates to set your pagers and mobile phones to either silent or vibration mode. So our President, Professor Chu-Gu Yu, graduated from the Seoul National University College of Medicine in 1983 and completed his clinical training and also received the PhD from SNU Postgraduate College of Medicine. He then worked as a research fellow at the University of North Carolina, USA, from 1995 to 97. He was the president of the Korean Academy of TB and Respiratory Diseases in 2023, and he has been the current president of APSR since November 2023. His clinical practice is mainly focused on pulmonary diseases, especially airway diseases, and his main research interest is the pathogenesis of inflammatory lung diseases, including COPD and ARDS. So this morning he's going to address the topic, interaction between cigarette smoke and neutrophil elastase in the pathogenesis of COPD. So please join me to welcome Professor Yu.
I am Chol-Gyu Yu, the current president of APSR, Seoul, Korea. Moving forward, I will delve into the pathogenesis of COPD, focusing on the crosstalk between cigarette smoke and neutrophil elastase. I will provide a succinct overview of the molecular mechanism underlying COPD and present my data from my lab. I have nothing to disclose related to this presentation. COPD is characterized by chronic inflammation of the airways and progressive destruction of lung parenchyma, typically triggered by cigarette smoking. This persistent inflammation leads to gradual lung deterioration, either directly or indirectly, through mechanisms such as oxidative stress and protease activity. Pathologically, COPD is defined by small airway disease and alveolar destruction resulting in airflow limitation. Inflammation, oxidative stress, proteases are often described as the classic pathogenic triad of COPD. During the various life cycle, dynamic and cumulative gene-environment interactions, a complex and heterogeneous array of processes occur within the cells. In addition to the classic triad, other mechanisms have been suggested as contributing to the pathogenesis of COPD. These include apoptosis, autophagy, epigenetic modification, cellular senescence, autoimmunity, vascular abnormality, and ineffective repair. What is most evident in the pathogenesis of COPD is its remarkable complexity. In addition to the diverse pathogenic mechanisms in COPD, these processes do not function independently but are highly interrelated, further contributing to its complexity. For example, neutrophil elastase, one of the most important proteases in the pathogenesis of COPD, not only induces proteolysis but also activates inflammation, oxidative injury, and apoptosis. Like Newton's law of action and reaction, our body has mechanisms to maintain homeostasis, preventing it from shifting too far in one direction. Maintaining this balance is crucial for preventing the development of COPD. In maintaining alveolar homeostasis, alveolar macrophages play a crucial role through local proliferation, efficiently clearing apoptotic cells, proteins, phospholipids in response to environmental challenges. During the reparative phase, these macrophages help resolve inflammation, coordinate tissue repair processes. Therefore, alveolar macrophages are pivotal in both maintaining tissue homeostasis and facilitating repair. In the pathogenesis of COPD, a loop in which the system fails to return to homeostasis leads to a vicious cycle. Among many factors involved in this loop, cigarette smoke and neutrophil elastase play a pivotal role by impairing the function of alveolar macrophages. It is well established that the factors driving COPD pathogenesis do not act independently but are highly interrelated. However, the crosstalk between cigarette smoke and neutrophil elastase remains poorly understood. In this context, we posed an initial question about the effects and mechanisms of the crosstalk between cigarette smoke and neutrophil elastase on vascular endothelial growth factor, VEGF, and IL-8, which plays a crucial role in defense mechanisms against apoptosis and inflammation, respectively. Cigarette smoke extract, CSE, activated ERK in a dose and time-dependent manner and induced the production of both VEGF and IL-8. Inhibition of ERK activation using the chemical inhibitor U0126 nearly completely reduced CSE-induced production of VEGF and IL-8. These data suggest that ERK pathway plays an important role in the production of VEGF and IL-8 in response to CSE stimulation in bronchial epithelial cells. We next evaluated the effect of neutrophil elastase treatment on CSE-induced IL-8 and VEGF production. Co-treatment with CSE and neutrophil elastase augmented IL-8 production. In contrast, neither neutrophil elastase treatment alone or co-treatment with CSE suppressed VEGF production. To investigate whether this opposite effect of neutrophil elastase on IL-8 and VEGF production is CSE stimulation specific, we investigated the effect of neutrophil elastase on hydrogen peroxide, TNF-alpha, interleukin-1 beta-induced IL-8 and VEGF production. The differential effect of neutrophil elastase on IL-8 and VEGF production were also observed, indicating that the effect of neutrophil elastase is not stimulus-specific. We next investigated the role of ERK pathway in the effect of neutrophil elastase on VEGF or interleukin-8. Neutrophil elastase treatment accelerated CSE-induced ERK activation, and blocking ERK activation with two different chemical inhibitors suppressed the neutrophil elastase-mediated increase in CSE-induced IL-8 release near completely, suggesting that augmenting effect of neutrophil elastase on CSE-induced IL-8 production is mediated through the ERK pathway. In contrast, neutrophil elastase-induced suppression of CSE-mediated VEGF production was not reversed by inhibition of ERK activation, indicating that neutrophil elastase-induced suppression of CSE-mediated VEGF production is determined by mechanisms other than the ERK pathway. Intracellular VEGF expression decreased rapidly from 15 minutes after neutrophil elastase stimulation, suggesting that suppression of extracellular VEGF release by neutrophil elastase might not be due to downregulation of de novo protein synthesis. To confirm this, mRNA levels of VEGF were assessed by quantitative RT-PCR. Neither neutrophil elastase treatment alone nor co-treatment with CSE decreased VEGF mRNA expression. These results indicate that downregulation of intracellular VEGF protein by neutrophil elastase may occur by post-translational modification. We speculated that neutrophil elastase-induced downregulation of intracellular VEGF protein expression might be due to intracellular degradation of VEGF protein. When lysosomal activity or the proteasomal pathway was blocked by chloroquine or MG132 respectively, neutrophil elastase induced downregulation of intracellular VEGF was not affected. To test the possibility of direct degradation of VEGF by neutrophil elastase, we first examined whether neutrophil elastase enters into the normal human lung epithelial cells. Intracellular localization of neutrophil elastase was confirmed by immunofluorescent staining and Western blotting of immunoprecipitates with anti-neutrophil elastase antibody. We next assessed whether neutrophil elastase is capable of degrading VEGF in vitro. Most of VEGF was degraded after 30 minutes of incubation with neutrophil elastase or porcine pancreatic elastase. However, interestingly, recombinant human interleukin-8 was intact. Taken together, these data suggest that neutrophil elastase enters into the cells to directly cleave VEGF, which results in downregulation of intracellular VEGF. To confirm the effect of elastase on CSE-induced VEGF and ILA production in vivo, mice were intratracheally instilled with elastase and CSE. While CSE increased the level of VEGF and IL-8 in bronchoalveolar lavage fluid of mice, VEGF was suppressed by elastase treatment. In contrast, the increase in IL-8 level by CSE treatment was sustained after elastase for 4 weeks of intratracheal instillation. In addition, when the severity of emphysema was measured by MRI at week 8, mice treated with elastase and CSE had more severe emphysema than mice treated with CSE alone. This raises the possibility that changes of VEGF and IL-8 might precede the histological changes. Taken together, CSE increases VEGF production and ERK-mediated IL-8 production. Neutrophil elastase enters into the bronchial epithelial cells to cause proteolytic cleavage of VEGF, which induces apoptosis. In contrast, neutrophil elastase enhances CSE-induced interleukin-8 production via ERK activation, which increases neutrophil inflammation. Our next question was, what is the mechanisms of the crosstalk between CSE and neutrophil elastase on IL-8 production? To evaluate whether protease-activated receptor 2, PAR2, is involved in neutrophil elastase-induced ERK activation and subsequent ILA production, cells were transiently transfected with control siRNA and PAR2 siRNA. The mRNA and protein expressions of PAR2 were significantly decreased in PAR2 siRNA transfected cells. Knockdown of PAR2 significantly suppressed neutrophil elastase-induced ERK activation and ILA production. These data suggest that neutrophil elastase-induced ILA production depends on PAR2-mediated ERK activation in lung epithelial cells. We next assessed the effect of treatment with CSE and neutrophil elastase on IL-8 production. Treatment with CSE and neutrophil elastase enhanced IL-8 production. PAR2 knockdown using siRNA completely abrogated interleukin-8 production after treatment with CSE and neutrophil elastase. The enhanced ILA production via PAR2 after CSE and any treatment might be due to upregulation of PAR2 expression. Both the PAR2 mRNA and protein expression was significantly increased when B2B cells were treated with CSE. In contrast, neutrophil elastase significantly decreased PAR2 expression. PAR2 expression increased in the membrane fraction after CSE treatment, but did not increase after neutrophil elastase treatment. These findings suggest that upregulation of PAR2 on the membrane surface, which serves as a receptor for neutrophil elastase, may be associated with increased neutrophil elastase-induced ILA production following CSE treatment. The enhanced ILA production via PAR2 after CSE and neutrophil elastase treatment might be due to upregulation of PAR2 expression. Both the PAR2 mRNA and protein expression was significantly increased when B2B cells were treated with CSE. The sequence of the slide is something wrong. We next evaluated how CSE upregulates PAR2. CSE induced the phosphorylation of ERK, P38, and AKT. Interestingly, P38 inhibitor, but not the MEK inhibitor or PI3K AKT inhibitor, significantly inhibited upregulation of PAR2 in the membrane fraction. Consistent with these findings, p38 inhibition completely suppressed CSE-induced enhancement of ILA production in neutrophil elastase-treated cells, but it did not affect neutrophil elastase-induced ILA production. These results indicate that CSE-induced upregulation of PAR2 is dependent on p38 activation. To examine the effect of CSE on PAR2 expression in mouse lung tissue, mice were intratracheally instilled with CSE. CSE increased the level of PAR2 expression in mouse lung tissue. Immunohistochemical staining for PAR2 in mouse lung tissues showed that PAR2 was increased in lung epithelial cells of CSE instilled mice. We next compared the expression level of PAR2 in lung tissues from healthy non-smokers. Smokers without COPD and COPD patients, PAR2 expression was significantly higher in extracts and the lung epithelial cells of smokers and COPD patients. Taken together, these results indicate that CSE activates p38, leading to upregulation of membrane expression of PAR2, which serves as a receptor for neutrophil elastase, and ultimately enhanced IL-8 production. Our last question was, what is the mechanism of crosstalk between CSE and neutrophil elastase on oxidative stress? We first examined the effect of CSE on antioxidant pathway. CSE increased DNA binding activity of NRF2 in a dose-dependent manner. And it upregulates HO1 mRNA and protein expression. Overexpression of dominant negative NRF2 completely suppressed CSE-induced HO1 expression. These results indicate that CSE upregulates HO1 via NRF2 activation in human bronchial epithelial cells as a defense mechanism against oxidative stress. We next evaluated the effect of neutrophil elastase treatment on CSE-induced HO1 expression. Upregulation of HO1 mRNA and protein by CSE was significantly suppressed in neutrophil elastase pretreated cells. Under non-stress conditions, NRF2 is anchored in the cytoplasm by binding to KEAP1, which in turn facilitates the ubiquitination and subsequent proteolysis of NRF2. CSE decreased cytoplasmic KEAP1 expression and mediated nuclear translocation of NRF2, which was not suppressed by neutrophil elastase treatment. Neutrophil elastase pretreatment did not inhibit the DNA binding activity of NRF2 induced by CSE. NRF2 transfected COS7 cells were used as a positive control. These results suggest that neutrophil elastase-induced suppression of HO1 is NRF2 independent. SIRT1 has been reported to counteract CS-induced oxidative stress through the upregulation of HO1 independently of NRF2. Neutrophil elastase treatment significantly decreased SIRT1 expression. When the cells were transiently transfected with SIRT1 expression vector, CSE-induced HO1 expression was enhanced and neutrophil elastase HO1 suppression was completely blocked. These results demonstrate that neutrophil elastase negatively regulates HO1 expression by downregulating SIRT1. We next evaluated the mechanism of SIRT1 downregulation by neutrophil elastase. Neutrophil elastase treatment did not suppress the transcript levels of SIRT1, suggesting the post-translational modification. When the proteasome or the lysosome were blocked, neutrophil elastase-induced downregulation of SIRT1 was not effective. We assessed whether internalized neutrophil elastase is capable of degrading SIRT1. SIRT1 was highly sensitive to neutrophil elastase cleavage in vitro. Neutrophil elastase-mediated SIRT1 cleavage was completely blocked by elastase inhibitor and serine protease inhibitor. Heated neutrophil elastase, which inactivates neutrophil elastase activity, also failed to cleave SIRT1. Taken together, these data suggest that neutrophil elastase enters into the cell and directly cleaves SIRT1. Neutrophil elastase suppressed SIRT1 and HO1 expression in primary human bronchial epithelial cells as well. Additionally, SIRT1 expression was significantly lower in lung extracts from smokers and COPD patients. Taken together, these results indicate that CSE upregulates HO1 through NRF2 activation as a defense mechanism against oxidant injury in human bronchial epithelial cells. Neutrophil elastase cleaves SIRT1 protein, thereby suppressing CSE-induced HO1 upregulation. In conclusion, our results highlight the critical role of crosstalk between cigarette smoke and neutrophil elastase in the pathogenesis of COPD, further contributing to its complexity. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Yu, for your insightful lecture, enlightening us on the mechanisms of interaction between cigarette smoke and neutrophil elastase in the pathogenesis of COPD. Can you please join me in thanking Professor Yu?